You made it home, Luce. Did you get the popcorn and the slushy? Yeah, Dan, just I think Aaron's just sorting some things on his end. I did click his live and he was live. But yeah, just I thought to myself, instead of just sitting there waiting, I might as well come on and talk to you guys until he's ready. But if a few of you, Dan, if you could like nip off here and there and check see if he's live and active, yeah. But yeah, I've been mega busy recently with the shows. We've got another show on the 16th of October. Then we've got a show on the 7th of November. Busy. Feels like forever since I've done a live. So, yeah. So we are going to have Aaron on. So bear with us. I think he's just sorting some things on his end. Yeah. Going to be a good live. We might have to do it on YouTube. We're just playing it by ear. What's going on, mute? And I've got some lovely giants I'm going to be showing today. I had 3 imports. I had 1 from Germany and 2 from Ireland. One of the geckos from Ireland I've left home because she seemed really stressed. But yeah, West Yorkshire gecko. So the show is actually in the south part of the country. So I'm in London. So there's a show called it's in Guildford. And it's about 30 minutes from me, so a heck of a trek for you Yorkshire lads. So most of you joined already. We're just waiting on Aaron. He's having some technical... I'm having trouble saying that word today. Technical difficulties. I think he's doing it off of a laptop, so just seeing how it goes and go from there. Too far for me. I think so, man. It is looking like I'm probably going to be coming to America next year at some point. 100%. There's America. Definitely going to Turkey because I need that sun, and probably Portugal to see some of my Portuguese friends. He's live on his profile again. Is it working, Dan? Is it his live working? Can you see him and everything? Wally. What's going on? When am I on, buddy? Honestly, anyone can come on. I think I'm pretty much booked up till December now. But I'm pretty sure I can get people in on a weekday and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just loving the whole lives at the moment. And he is live. He must be working for him then. Must be working. Very expensive, Kevin. Buying likes it costs a hell of a lot. And I give it to Jay. I mean, if he's got Black Knights, he can afford to buy the followers. But yeah, no, big up to Jay. He's doing good. He's doing really good. He's got the geckos that people I've never seen them before. So yeah. Yeah, the only issue, is he saying anything on his live, Dan? Is he saying anything? Is he saying, get George on? The only difference is if I go on his live is I won't be able to save it on my page. But yeah, 28 people already. Jeez, I'm not even showing a gecko yet. Yeah, I think is he doing a live with him? I think he's on a live with himself, isn't he? Is it like what? Yeah, he's talking. What's he saying? I don't know what's going on. I can't see the messages. I can't because I'm live. So basically, Magic, it's me and I can't even pronounce the name. Cenozoic Reptilia. He's having some technical difficulties. Let me request him. Let me see if I can get invite him. Let's get him on. There we go.
What's up, brother?
Perfect.
I apologize, man. I tried, couldn't figure it out.
No worries, man. No worries at all. We're live now. A few people in here was like, "He's live. He's talking. It must be working."
I know, right?
But we're here. We're here anyway. How are you anyway? Stressed?
Nah, it's. I didn't expect for it to happen like that. I had to download OBS and then Yellow Duck, and then I tried to stream it and it didn't allow me, and then I had to put in a key, and then it apparently has a setting set up for Facebook, but it doesn't have an availability for Instagram for whatever reason. So
yeah,
I managed to go live, but they didn't give me no options. I couldn't even reach chat or anything. So
weird. I did click the live and it was crystal clear, which surprised me. It was like so clear.
I bought the camera and the mic and everything for it, but
oh no, it was so clear. I was like, oh, he's got it working.
I wanted to debunk all these Photoshop myths. I wanted to show my geckos. Everybody could see that they're that vibrant.
Yeah. That's the thing with these phones. It would never ever show the true quality.
No, that it doesn't translate properly. It definitely doesn't.
Well, anyway, we're here. We're here finally.
Yeah, we're here, man. Like it's.
So anyway, Aaron, there is a little bit of a delay, so you might notice I'll answer. I might speak when you're speaking. It's because of there is a very, very slight delay. But anyways, what got you into the hobby? Speak a little bit about yourself. What got you into the hobby? A lot of people have been working with reptiles for a long time before they started breeding Leos. So explain a little bit about yourself. What got you into the hobby? Why are you called? Is it Cenozoic Reptilia?
Yeah, Xenozoic Reptilia. I guess I'm your cliche story, right? Like I grew up liking animals. I grew up. My mom would take me to with her family over there up in Chihuahua and Milwaukee and Delicias. And I think one thing that really captivated me as a kid is she would talk about these chirroneros. There are these snakes that they happen to be I think coach house snakes.
Right.
And there were all these myths revolving around it, how they used to switch up the breastfeeding from the child, and then they would suck on the mother's tit, and then they would kill the child, and then they would supposedly kill horses, and all these myths and everything. I think as a child that really captivated me as far as reptiles is concerned, because I've always had a passion for animals in general. You know, I've always gotten the dog from the streets, the cat. I used to always bring runts to my family and everything. But
like a certain breed of people, you know, it's like weird things. Like when I was younger, I used to go and collect snails in the garden. I think you have to be a certain type of person. But
yeah.
Continue.
For me, my genesis was ants, right? I used to dig up ants, and then I used to look for the queen, and my mom used to buy me books, and I used to get the pupae, the larvae, and then get a tank and put them in there. And I was always fascinated how they would make the tunnels and everything. Definitely, that's what brought me into, I think, animals as a whole. At one point, I was pursuing my entomology degree, but it didn't pan out. But I've owned iguanas, I've owned animals, tortoises, turtles. I used to catch lizards in my yard. I don't think anything gravitated me towards leopard geckos in specific, but they definitely got my attention as far as the potential to work with them, as far as morphs and genetics. I think it's a very diverse gene pool for them.
Yeah.
Like ball pythons as well. That's something that I'm getting into currently. I think there's nothing else like it as far as leopard geckos. So I started with that. It's definitely not where I'm going to stop, but that's why we're here to begin with, right?
100%. And what I appreciate with you as well is considering in the whole aspect of things with leopard gecko breeding, you actually haven't been doing it very long. And
No, I have not. I started on I think February 18th.
yeah,
You know, in the midst of COVID and everything, I kind of make the decision to go into it. To be very honest with you, in a business perspective, right? Because I come from working 80 hours a week. You know, like I have that ability to micromanage my time. At one point, I would go from one work, and in between my other work, I had exactly 7 minutes to shower, and I had my transit time to go to my other job. I have that energy, right? That I'm able to do this at the capacity that I am, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people come in and you hear it within the community, right?
Yeah.
Start off slow. Don't get too many geckos. Like, I tend to defy the norm, right? Because I started, I think, with 6. I had initially bought a Craigslist local breeder group, and I tried it out, and then I got my first leopard gecko hold with art geckos over there with Ben. And I started looking into the genetics, into the potential, and all these possibilities, and I just started acquiring more and more, man. I currently have about, I think I hatched about 150 plus this season.
Ooh.
And I currently have about, now with holdbacks, I would say 100 plus for next season. And I mean, that's where I'm at, right? And it's definitely, I think you need to go at your own capacity, because I don't think just anybody can do that. I do this full time. I don't work. Right. Definitely, if I had a job or anything in between the lines, I'd probably downscale a little bit. But for me, my reality right now, I'm definitely at that capacity. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome, man. And like I'm assuming you got all the space and everything, because of most of the people in here could say, I see you everywhere at the moment. I'm seeing people buying geckos. I'm like, I love seeing this guy grow. Because I remember following you. I think you only had like 900 followers at the time. And just to see you develop and grow, and like in a short space of time, the photography skills. I mean, when I first started, I mean, they were pixelated. I had them on my hand. You know, I'm not saying having photos in your hand is wrong, but you know them all quick, like. So to see you, you know what I'm talking about. To see you,
yeah, definitely
take it really seriously, because of, I always say this: a good photo will add $100 on a gecko. Because of you, with a rubbish photo, you can't see the full potential. I know it's very hard in pictures anyway, but to see you come in such a small space of time and do it the right way, I've got to say, preach. And the amount you got as well, like you just said, I take my hat off to you, man. And you're doing a really good job. A really good job, especially your marketing. Have you ever had a marketing job or anything? Because your marketing's good, like how your website is laid out and everything's very professional. When you done the post about the live, it was all like, I'm very OCD, and I tend to perfect my craft, and anything that I do, right? Like, if anybody is a witness to that, is my wife. I'm very extreme. I tend to take things to the I would say at the height of the expectation of perfection, I would say. So definitely when I started, I wasn't happy. Like, I went for a logo. You know, I wanted to brand myself within the integrity of what I think I'm doing, right? I wanted to translate that into my branding. Yeah.
And I'm glad it shows, because I'm in the details, man. Like, I'll take a picture, I see some lighting, and I'm like, I'll redo it. I'll move this around. I'll buy more lights. I cannot even say how many tripods. I've used many macro lenses. If I don't like it, I'll look for something else.
Perfect.
It has to be perfect. Yeah, exactly. And it's just the way I am, right?
Yeah. It's good. The thing is, it shows. Like, I wouldn't even say considering I've been in the hobby since 2017. I wouldn't say I'm a veteran, but for someone like me, it shows. Like, I can see the time in it. Like, for example, art geckos. You look at his pictures and you think to yourself, they took him a long time. Like, to get a cresty in that position. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got a technique with a bowl and he lifts it up and someone takes a shot. I'm pretty sure he's got his technique, but yeah, you can see the quality. Like Scott just said. Scott just said, you do a great job on your theme of your page too, mate. Great photos presented perfectly. Exactly, like, people are seeing this. People, and especially if you're doing this full time as well. Like, man, you are doing a good job. You are doing a fantastic job.
Right, and that's, I can't stress enough, right? The reality that it's within anybody's limitations. It's just you have to put the effort, right? It doesn't, anybody can go get a camera.
Yeah.
But you have to work with the details. You have to micro niche your details, and to your taste too, right? Like, there's definitely an aspect to the community that you are first and foremost have to stay loyal to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is a standard. There's a micro niche standard that comes before, with the people that come before us, right? Like, I used to look at and it's not to throw any shade at anybody, but I used to look at the pictures with the hands, and I asked myself, how can it be better?
Yeah.
Within my expectation, right? So therefore, I can either abide by the community standard or I could create my own.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think it's a thin line between serving the community within the context of being a member of the community and staying relevant and true to your passions and your vision, because sometimes you have to double down with the way you do things, right?
100%. Thing is, as well, what I like as well is when I see when I see someone's bought a gecko off you and they put it on their story, when I see your photo, I know it's from you. You have your own take on things. Like, anyone on here, if someone said, "Oh, look at this gecko," and didn't mention your page, I'd be like, "That's from Sino."
Yeah,
because that's your style. It's so.
That's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's right. Yeah, it's just your own style. It's like, I don't know whether do you use a certain light. It's like you got like some like reddish hue. It's just perfect, mate. It's so good for marketing and. Like with Steve Skies, for example, someone show you a photo of Steve Skies geckos, you know it's from Steve, and that's a really good point with breeding. Like, to look at that gecko and be like, that came from Sino.
Yeah, because there is definitely a marketing angle to what we do, right? And there is also definitely a competitive aspect to it, and that's healthy, right? That's healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
If you are able to deliver it with a healthy demeanor, it will help the community and the hobby overall, right? Because we can't just be amongst ourselves. We definitely need to grow. So, especially being that I think the reptile community gets attacked so much. I mean, I don't know about in the UK, but here, they start launching all these regulations, and you definitely have to put yourself in the perspective of an outsider to kind of understand the narrative that they throw, so you could kind of counter that and be counterproductive as a whole, right? As a community, to say.
Yeah.
Because we can be in the mix and debating the rhetoric and the verbiage and virtual signaling this person for doing this or that. It comes to show that the community definitely has to grow in the aspect of the way we educate. And it starts within ourselves, right?
100%.
So you see a breeder that is doing something that you think is unethical. I don't think it's very productive to virtual signal. Like, X person is doing this, let's excommunicate them, let's cast them out or whatnot. That could be very counterproductive. And me, as coming as a newcomer, right? Like, I look at that stuff and we could definitely be doing better than that.
100%. I couldn't agree more with you, man. Like, when I first started, I was completely written off. I was told there's no gap for you here, and I made a small error, and it does come down to obviously the business side of things. Like this new breeder just came. He's bought 100 geckos. He's going to produce all these geckos. So like in their head,
spend X amount of money.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to make all. Oh, he's got. Oh, this is going to affect us. When really it doesn't. If anything, how I see it is, you're a newcomer. Let me help you. You know, you never burn a bridge. You never know when you need that person. That's how I always think. Like, think that if I help somebody and they went on to make great things, in the back of my head, I'd be like, a little part of me helped him with that. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no need for this casting somebody out. And, you know, a lot of it as well is you'll see stuff that you know it's about you, but you can't say anything because of it's passive aggressive.
Yeah.
And it ruins your pride.
They try to gaslight you, and then they kind of hint on this and that. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I'm typically I think I'm a very calculated person, right? So in the beginning, I came in and I thought goal oriented. I want to be here in 1 year, right? I want to be here in 2 years. I want to be here in 3 years, and you definitely, I think, need to take that perspective, especially when you're dealing with this type of like, you could almost call it niche, right? Like niche market, niche commerce, right? And that's how I'm trying to invest myself, right? Like that's my angle, that's my perspective. I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Oh, that's good. That's what I like about you is you're honest. You're straight to the point. You know what I mean? There's no messing around. It's like, I'm pretty sure if you had anything to say, you'd say it to somebody directly. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. And what hurts me as well is you don't know what someone's going through. So like, just think what someone's going through. Like, you never know. That one thing you've just told that new breeder might be the last thing that someone's ever said to them. That's how I think. That's just how I think. But I take my hat off to any new breeders. This is a very, very hard hobby to get into. You can be, well, it's easy, but you can be outcast. It's hard to get talking to people and everything. I'm transparent. It doesn't matter whether you got 100 followers or you got 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers. I think we're all equal. We're all in the same hobby. This is supposed to be fun. We're all in it together. That's how I look at it.
It's like Junior said it. Like, there's definitely humility is lacking. Definitely as a whole, right? Definitely, that's something that I would personally encourage, especially for newcomers, right?
100%.
That are coming in. And I talk to my wife about this all the time, and I think what bothered me the most from the beginning was the fact that that attitude steals from your first love to the community, to the hobby, to what you're doing, right? And I won't lie, at one point I did get caught up in the drama, right? It consumes people, man. You have to take accountability in how you create conflict within someone else, and sometimes that's in the details. It's in the details and how you hold yourself within your tribalism. If anything screams more that there's definitely a business aspect to the community is the tribalism, right? The groups, X person with that X person. And it's just like you said, like when they're talking about you, you definitely know that's about you.
Oh, 100%.
Without a doubt, right?
You're like, come on, just tell me. You're like, that's what makes it worse. That's what
that makes it worse. Is like, just hit my DMs, brother. Like, we'll talk it out. We'll hash shit out. I'm within my capacity to admit when I'm wrong too, right? Like, we're all at fault because we all participate, right? We all participate in what it is and how we handle ourselves in their interpersonal relationships within the community. And what's most damaging is for people like us that are coming in. Like, we see that, and it definitely is something that needs to change.
I definitely, I totally agree. There's so many poor people that are left in the shadows as well, and that's why I get. Someone messaged me the other day. Was like, "Are you going to start getting some big names on your live?" And I'm like, well, "Yeah, but I'm not looking at it like that. I see it as if someone came to me in my first year and said, "Hey, would you like to come on a podcast and showcase your animals?" That would have pushed me so much, and I would have been in a better position now than where I am now. So, getting new people in, that is what I'm all about. That is what I'm all about, and I know you are as well. I know a lot of new breeders have purchased from you, and I see there's so many people that are like they got the attitude that, are you going to buy a gecko or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, how do you incubate eggs? Are you buying this gecko or what? And that mentality, that even as a business point of view, that's bad, and that it happens an awful lot. And I know so many people who are watching this can say, yeah, that's happened to me too. Have you had any sort of experience with that? Like, have you ever spoke to somebody quite high up and you've been completely written off?
I've heard stories. I've heard stories. I can't say for myself that I've had that experience. I think I've only purchased last season from 3 breeders, which would be Lunation geckos, Bold and Bright, which is Rudy, and then Ben from Art Geckos. They all were very extremely helpful, good customer service. I try to pick on Ben's brain every now and then. That the man knows his stuff, man. Like, you know, and he's one of the guys that I would hear so much crap from in the beginning. Like, and I'm old school, you know. Like, I'm 33 years old, but I consider myself an old soul, and I'm very introverted as well. That's another aspect about the community that I didn't like coming in, was the shit talking, man, behind their backs, right? I get DMs and X person is this and X person, and I'm like, you know what, man, I want no part of that.
Yeah,
I want no part of that, because there has to be a sense of humility that might be that person's livelihood.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's what you just said. We don't know from what place people are at to be in a position to be talking about anybody, for the matter.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it does happen more in America. You're going to see the dog. I think it happens a lot more in America, because I know with Europe and America, there's, I'm not saying this in a bad way at all. In America, it's more seen as a business, whereas in the UK, for example, if you wanted to do it as a business, you have to get licenses, you have to have people come over, you have to have all your animals in 32 litres and whatnot. So I think in America, it's more like, oh, you're stepping on my toes, oh, you're from California, I'm from California, you just set up. That's from what I can say. I could be completely wrong, but over here, it's more, I think it's more everyone trying to get up as higher, trying to get to the top, basically. But it's always going to happen. What my Amber's nan always says, if people are talking about you, is giving some poor sod a day off. So that's sort of how I try and look at it now. But we've got an interesting question from Junior. It says, what part of breeding what part of breeding makes you the happiest? Like, what's your happiest with the breeding? Is it popping out eggs? Like, you never know what you're going to get, kind of thing. What's your happiest in breeding?
It's definitely seen life come to be, right? Like, I take a lot of hatchling pictures, man. Like, you could ask my wife, I'm there. I think at one point it literally took me about 12 hours to get pictures of 3 hatchlings. And but I love it, man. I could rather watch them hatch than watch a movie. It's just I fascinate at the idea that I have this incubator in my living room, and like descendants from dinosaurs are hatching in my living room.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it's art. It's living art as well. Like, I know when we can't act as God, but do you look down and think, I made that? I get it all the time.
Yeah. I assisted in the making, right? Like, yeah, definitely that aspect. And it's not so much hitting the odds for the genetics, because I think that's another aspect that kind of kind of motivates everybody every season as far as within the breeding perspective, right? Like hitting the odds. I think that's exciting. But to answer Junior's question, it's definitely seeing them hatch.
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's like Christmas all over again. Doesn't matter how many you hatch, it's still, you get that butterfly feeling, and
Yeah,
it's just great. It's just great.
that's great. Yeah.
What's your favorite project? Like, what is it your most? Because I think your high contrast stuff is, personally, if there's anything from your collection I would really love, it's the high contrast stuff I've seen you post.
That's definitely my favorite, the high contrast. The logo is actually my first acquired leopard gecko from Art Geckos. It's I think it's he calls it a triple stripe, and it probably is controversial within the community because it has a reverse stripe and the dorsal stripes, and he's awesome, man. Like he's gonna be here forever. He's definitely one of those keepers for a long time. Project wise, that has to be it. Over the time, because my wife really likes the tangerines. I don't really take on them in the beginning, but I hatched one this season with a reverse stripe, and he definitely caught my attention. I would say after the high contrast, definitely tangerines are in my goal now.
Yeah.
Within my sight.
What I like about tangerines as well is that usually they hatch out looking normal, so they grow as they develop. You start seeing that real orange come through, especially with the quality ones. That's what I really like, seeing a normal go special. Me personally, but yeah, I used to work with high contrast, and I wish I never got rid of it. It's only because I work with pastel too, so I found the two very similar, color enhancers.
Yeah. They definitely are.
Yeah, so I went more down I got rid of my high contrast and went more down the pastel route, but I'm really regretting it because the high contrasts are brighter than pastels, and you see that orange patterning that comes around the banding, and I love them, man. The ones you've got are great examples. So you'd say the high contrast is your thing. So I can see
definitely the high contrast. Yeah,
you love that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
In the photos, the quality, you're like, yeah, he really likes
too many high contrast holdbacks of this year, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some off you, man. You're gonna have to send some down to me.
Yeah, they have to.
So I know you work with cresties too. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. This is a question we got submitted. It's what's your favourite between the cresties and the Leos, and also name a pro and a con between the two.
Favorite between cresties and Leos, hands down Leos, man. Like cresties are very, they're not very social, right?
Yeah.
Like from what I've noticed and owning cresties, they don't have that much diversity within their characters, because some Leos have characters, man.
Oh yeah.
Like they can be very distinctly different, and cresties are just, I want to run away and hide, right? You don't typically come to the tub, and they come to you and they look at you and they interact with you to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So definitely Leos, and they differ in the sense of that as well. Like I have my vivariums, I usually never see the crested geckos unless I'm feeding them or spraying them. And the leopard geckos, like I said, they go out and they kind of interact with you. That's definitely more
dinner time.
What was that?
They know when it's time for food, so like for dinner time.
Yeah. They know when it's time for food, and then I have a lot of girls that are pretty sweet. They kind of come to you and they give you the eyes. You get to hold them. They chill with you. Like I can't do that with a cresty. It'll jump and run away.
And they're all brown. And you can get obviously nice lily whites and other morphs, get you reds, but they're just very brown. I do love them. I think I find them, like with hatchlings, they're not as aggressive. Don't get me wrong. As soon as you open that tub, they're but I do like the cresties. I do think Leos have got the step up on them for me. Like the colorations you get, like you said, you get different personalities. With cresties, you got to make sure. I find them quite delicate. I know they're easy to keep, but they can be very delicate, especially with babies. They can be I had a conversation with you. I've had so many cresty eggs die on me. Like it's like they bit the egg to hatch, but they couldn't get out, and obviously drowned in their egg. And I've had so many of those eggs this season, and I don't ever really get that with Leos.
Yeah, I've only hatched 2 this season because I did a collab with my bud here, Texas kid, and he brought his female and he made it. I paired her to my red phantom male, and I think they both passed. Both baby cresties passed. I think it was attributed to the fact that I found the eggs late, since I do have vivarium setups. Like she was only intentionally here to pair, so I think time got ahead of us, and she was here a little bit more of an extensive time. And I think the transition between the room temperature and then I incubated them at a certain temperature, and I think that definitely caused something within their development that they passed. We were talking about that, right? And I think it's far more frequent than leopard gecko eggs. So there's definitely something that has to be kind of like worked up.
Yeah, I know there was like considered endangered, wasn't they? So I don't know whether it's something, because they do lay a lot of eggs. So like I assume they lay a lot of eggs because in the wild the death rate's high. So I mean, with Leos we can just get them, go straight into the incubator. So I just find cresties extremely delicate, especially with the babies. Once they've matured and they became adults, they're pretty easy. But when they're babies, it's
Well, I'm definitely traumatized, right? Because at one time I opened the bin and one of them didn't look really good, and then I thought it was shed issues. We kind of like saturated the moss a little bit more, and then I opened it one day and it's passed, and then the other one passed like in a week. So yeah, I think delicate is a word. They are far more delicate than leopard geckos.
Definitely, and they can be they're known for getting dehydrated very easily too, because I used to run a courier service within the UK, so I used to take animals to and from breeders and drop them off, and cresties used to get dehydrated so easily through stress and whatnot. And they also had this thing where if they get too stressed, they catch like a parasite. I know it sounds crazy. They got this like parasite in them, and they get like an overwhelming of it, and they get really ill. Because a lot of people don't realize a lot of reptiles do have parasites. It's just they get over. If obviously husbandry isn't very good, their food crawls over their feces, they eat it, more eggs, and it's just an influx of too much. But everyone's reptiles do have parasites, and I don't think that gets spoken enough. But yeah, Leo's all day long. Leo's the best.
yeah, Leo's hands down.
We have an incubator question. Do you guys lose a lot of eggs, and how do you prevent mold? I'll give my take first, but I'd say mold is too much humidity. So keep an eye on your humidity, and all of us keepers, we do lose eggs. It's like a human, you know, people miscarry. Same with eggs, they can miscarry. I'd say, I think it's about this year, I think I had about 16 eggs that went on me. They went full term, and then all of a sudden, like, how the hell are you still looking like a normal egg and there's nothing inside? You know what I mean? But what's your views on that, Aaron?
I think it's contingent on your geolocation. I know you mentioned humidity. For me, it's the opposite. I used to lose. I have lost eggs due to the lack of humidity. So I just noticed having my incubation at, I think, around 90% humidity. I've been seeing better hatchlings. They come out more plump. They look like they're better hydrated. They start growing better. No issues, no shed issues, no issues with mold or anything within that. Substrate is definitely something you need to try that aligns with where you live. Like, I'm here in El Paso, Texas. We're really dry.
Yeah.
So that definitely plays a role. I would think so. I use Hatch Right, and a lot of people have told me, like, oh no, that doesn't work well. For me, it's worked well, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I live in a dry place. So yeah, I think you definitely need to play with it a little bit, because in the beginning I did lose eggs. I would do the vermiculite and the mix and everything, right, and I would get oddly enough, they would dry out. Mine would dry out. You see, and then I would try to add some moisture, and then they would start molding. So you definitely have to kind of get the consistency right from the beginning, because if not, you're just troubleshooting.
Yeah, it comes with experience as well. You find
Yeah.
out what works for you, and like you said, I've tried all the hatch rights, and vermiculite is the only one that seems to work for me.
Yeah, exactly.
In the UK, we're quite humid. It's almost like a little tropical island. Even though we're cold and in the winter, warm in the summer, we are quite humid. So I mean, with me, if I have because each pairing I have one tub for. I know everyone keeps them in separate tubs. Everyone has different views on how they incubate, but I have all mine pairing in one tub. And if I do a 50-50 mix, and I won't have to change that until the end of the season, and that's always worked for me. If I ever see an egg sink, this is a little tip of mine for everybody. If you ever see an egg sink, I get a piece of, I think you guys call it kitchen towel, and we call it kitchen roll. You cut a little piece of that, moist it, and then just slightly place it on the egg. And with me, they do pop up. But like Aaron said, it comes with trial and error, experience, and once you've had loads of eggs, it just comes natural, and you'll see little signs like, oh, that egg looks like it's starting to sink. Maybe some more moisture.
Yeah, it's like Ryan just said. Like, the weather definitely plays a big role too, right? Because that's something that's out of our control. And like, I have a swamp cooler in my house, so definitely the outside weather plays a big role.
Yeah. Do you find, like, if you get like a thunderstorm or something, do you find that plays effective with breeding or anything like that? I find my cresties freak out when we have some kind of freak weather, but they freak out over
everything. Yeah, that's the thing. They freak out over everything up. No, you know what? No, not that I've seen, because I mean, first of all, we don't get a lot of rain here in El Paso, so if it rains, I'm outside getting rain, right? Like, I'm outside getting soaked myself.
You're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm looking at the window. I'm hearing the thunder and everything. So it's not something that I've analyzed myself, but it's due to the fact that it doesn't really rain here too much. But one thing,
you get the dry tumbleweed.
Oh yeah, we have those. We do have those. You drive here by the border highway and you see them rolling down the street. So
crazy.
That is real.
I thought that was all cartoons.
No. Those things, the tumbleweeds are real, man, and they are pretty huge too.
Someone's asked about your photography. Like, do you use a light box, and what's your model of camera, if you don't mind sharing? Because I know some people go, oh, I don't want to tell you what my camera is.
I tell everybody, and I literally tell everybody, look, all my grow lights.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I literally have about, I think, 16 or 18 grow lights in my room. So my biggest advice, and I do get that question rather often, and I'm gonna tell you what I usually tell everybody, which is, let me try to situate my phone, because
Tumbleweeds mess up your car bad. Really? I just imagine it being air.
Yeah, it's the lighting. I would say lighting plays a huge role for indoor pictures, right? I think a lot of breeders try to opt out for the natural light, but I always argue that even that has a lot of variance: your geolocation, the time of the day, the daylight, the season, the pollution, and everything. So I try to get the same theme. So that's why I shoot for my type of pictures. I like my page looking pretty clean. So as far as a camera, I use a Canon SL2, and I use, for the hatchling pictures, I use a macro lens, regular stock from Amazon, nothing fancy or anything. I use a macro lens for the isopods as well. And I do have one lighting. Let me get it right away. I do use this light for the hatchlings, but that's it, just for the hatchlings. And this, I found this for like $13 on Amazon. I don't know if you guys could see the brand.
Does that go on top of your camera? Like, does it screw on and it's like a big LED?
I have two. So I used to play around with it, And I used to use both of them, but it was too much light. So I just use it on this little tripod and take the pictures off of the little cups that I use to where I incubate the eggs. So as soon as I hatch, I just take it out and start taking pictures. But nothing specific, no high end money gear. As far as just the camera I think would be the most expensive gear.
Someone mentioned, do you change the shutter speed or anything by any chance?
No. The only thing that I tampered as far as the settings for the camera is focus. I like the focus on a certain aspect of the object, so the background could look a little bit blurred out. That's the only thing I've changed. I haven't changed anything else. Everything else is still in stock mode.
I mean, I always find homemade things are the best. It's like incubators. I find homemade incubators are the best. Your polybox, your water bottles, heat mat, thermostat. So the same goes with photography. I mean, if I showed you my photo box, you would laugh. It is literally a tub that has been painted with pet safe white paint. And I mean, it takes the best shots ever. But every time people come over, they're like, no way, there's parts flaking. I really need to upgrade. But
yeah, that's what I did at first, right? Like I always make the joke that I traded my Xbox One X for my camera. Like you have to do those transitions. You have to do whatever you have to do to get that quality out of it, because a lot of the Leos do lose that translation within pictures. Like sometimes I bought geckos and I get them in the hand and I'm like, oh, this is way better than what I saw in the picture, right?
Yeah. It just it hasn't even got to be the top spec camera. A phone camera, like your iPhone, for example, they do take good shots. Some iPhone shots, they do take some really good shots. But you can see, like you said, it does make all the difference. It makes all the difference. Even White and Yellow Geckos in this chat, he's started taking some gorgeous shots. Someone said, this is a really hard question, and I'll get asked this a few times. It's like, how do I answer this? The best way to ID white and yellow, I would say, sometimes you get the halo, high white sides, you get some blushing. What's your take, Aaron?
That's a picky one, right? I had a conversation with someone that has purchased geckos from me, and I think the textbook definition shouldn't be your to-go-to at all times, because I definitely have white and yellow geckos that do not look white and yellow. And I definitely have geckos that look white and yellow and are not white and yellow, right? They have the white socks, they have the crowning, that globe within their phenotype. So it's one of those, I think you have to disclose. Like, I have a lot of geckos on my page that are possible white and yellow, and I usually like to go with that route, because if it ever comes out, because I've heard stories from people that have purchased geckos from big breeders as well, that second generation, oh, this looks white and yellow. I'm gonna ask, right? They ask, and sure enough, oh yeah, down the line, this one had a white and yellow. Maybe it could have, possibly. It's definitely one of those genes. Yeah, and I think it ties in with Max Snow too, especially for trampers. I run a lot of white and yellow Max Snow trampers. I like adding that to my high contrast lines. And to answer that question, I think it's just keep an eye on it, because sometimes it does develop. It does develop more of a visual over time. So yeah, there you go. Like, I would say that's white and yellow.
White and yellow, yeah.
White and yellow, right? That high white walls. Those walls are pretty high. Yeah, look. Let me show you one that's not white and yellow.
So you're going to show one that's not white and yellow, but looks white and yellow, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Look, man, I wish the camera would translate, but you can't even see it. Oh well.
And the thing is, as well, it is so big. White and yellow can be a nightmare with tangerines.
I don't know if you could see it or not. That's a high contrast Max No.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
But it has high white walls,
oh
but
yeah. It does. Jeez.
there's no white and yellow in there.
So it comes down to that question. Like I get asked a lot, like, how do you ID a white and yellow? And I say, you get the halo in and you get the high white sides, but it's not the best answer to give because of you've just shown a great example. You can have a gecko of high white sides, and it's not necessarily a white and yellow. I guess it comes with testing as well. I guess.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Green. That is a white and yellow Max No Tremper.
Yeah, it was very, very.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't think there's a right answer for it because if you're looking for the textbook definition, you can definitely miss some white and yellow aspects to white and yellow. So it's you. No, go ahead.
Like you said earlier, it's like you can get white and yellows that are super low expressious. So with white and yellows, I see it like it works. There's another question: how does white and yellow work? Is it a codom? I see it works almost like a Max No. So sometimes you look at something, you think, oh, that should be white and yellow, but you never know with it. You never. To be honest with you, I love the gene and hate the gene. I mean, what it can do is amazing, but I'm actually downgrading on my white and yellows massively next season because it gets on my nerves.
I have too many white. I love the white and yellow gene, man. Like it's just like I said. I think it adds a lot of the expression that I like, which is very like high contrast, like very vibrant. It, like I said, it mixes in very good with Max No. I mean, at least Tremper. I do have a Max No white and yellow bellow vinyl that looks pretty insane too, but I definitely think they translate better in Tremper.
The thing is here, do you have much issues with the white and yellow in the USA? I know in the UK, as soon as you mention white and yellow, it's like, oh, because over here, I think we've all been, because we're such a small country, we're all our lines are tied in one another. So we have a lot of white and yellow syndrome babies at the moment. And do you guys have much of that over there?
I have seen some. I've talked to some breeders too that have had minor issues with them. But as far as what I've tested, no, I have thankfully have not had any issues with any white and yellow. And I do look out for that, right? Because by textbook definition, from what I've read, they kind of like days off. They kind of stumble. Is it neurological as well, like the Enigma syndrome?
They like to star glaze like an Enigma where they do the whole. I'll give you an example. Yeah, it's similar, very similar to Enigma, apart from they don't like spin in a circle. The best way to explain it, what I say to people, it's like they're drunk. They like walk like with it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. No. I have luckily not had any issues with them.
Oh, no, you got a good line then.
So far, right?
What's your experience? What's your experience, Aaron? Sorry to cut you off. What is your experience with crossing white and yellow to Mac? I find it very easy with white and yellow and Mac into Mac because of it. Just you get those really like pastely yellows come through, but at the same time, like Chloe said, if you put it with Super Snow, you can still get the high white sides even though it's not white and yellow. Do you find it very easy with Mac?
You have to catch it. For me, from what I've analyzed from my hatchlings, I try to catch it early as a hatchling. I have seen that white and yellow Max No combinations hatchlings come out very ghost-like, if you can even describe it like that.
Right. Yeah.
And then and as soon as you start seeing them develop those phenotypes, they start to color up a certain way. So I typically try to catch them early because it's definitely one of those, if you don't really pay attention to your hatchlings and you're seeing them develop and color up and try to get the genetics correctly, you don't look at your tub, you feed them, you don't pay attention. 2 months later, you're scratching your head, right? Like, oh, does that have Max No? along with white and yellow, right? Because it's one of those, you may see it, you may not see it. So I try to catch it within the development.
100%. I mean, with tangs, I'm not even going to go there. It can really rattle your brain. What's your experiences, Aaron, with also crossing lines like high contrast, clown? I don't know whether you work with clown and fire and firebolt.
I do have a clown blood amaranth, but she didn't give this season. I tried to pair her, she was just not having it. So next season, firebolts. I have one, what you would consider a pure breed firebolt. I don't like using that word either. I crossed her to my high contrast tangerine triple stripe male, and I got this female. I'll show you. She looks kind of like a clown too.
I mean, you do get a lot of stuff. I see a lot of G&T, a lot of green line. They come out looking clown, but clown is literally a result of loads of crossings.
Yeah. See,
very nice.
So that would be my last year. I crossed my firebolt to a high contrast tangerine tramper.
Very.
I don't know if you can see it. Can you see her pretty good?
Yeah, I can see her. Very, very nice.
That would be her. And then I did the same this season, but I crossed her to a white and yellow high contrast tangerine, and I got this boy. That I personally really like. I think he looks like Skittles. So there's definitely a variance. Can you see it or not?
Oh, I see that. Yeah, very
right.
Nice.
A lot of colors. This one's, I would say, definitely a white and yellow.
Yeah, very nice. It's a shame because I can imagine that in person too.
Man, like that's why I got on the camera. I wish the camera would work, man.
While you're up there, Aaron, show us your that's one question. What is this Bengal? I've never ever heard of it in my life.
Of what?
Because I saw on your page it was something like a Bengal cross.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I've
I did not know
ever heard of this in my life. I want you to explain and show because that stuff looked nice.
She's crazy though. So, she's in shed. Let me show you the male. So this is a line bred from Rudy's over there on Golden Bright. That's my male.
Oh, very nice.
So it's a mix of tangerines, firebolt, Halloween mask, tangerine bolt. That's my male. My female's in shed. But the crosses, I'll show you one of the crosses that I had this season.
How are you finding crosses? Do you prefer out crossing? I mean, I love crossing things. I've got a lot of red diamond cross, a clown cross. I just think I love it.
I definitely love crossing them. Look, this was a cross to a white and yellow bold red stripe head raptor. So I don't know. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see that. Oh man, that is nice. Look at the tail.
Definitely crosses, I would say.
And they come out strong as well.
What was that?
They come out strong as well, not messed up because they've been crossed. Like Black Knight.
Hold up, and my wife's telling me I didn't really show it that well. Let me try to show you the boy again. Come on, boy. I don't know if you could see him. This would be the white and yellow firebolt cross.
Oh, very nice, man. Junior. Crossing is my middle name.
And then, well, now that I'm here, what do you guys want to see? Like,
show me your show me your favorite, because that's a question. What's your favorite gecko? Show us your favorite gecko.
favorite gecko as far as what I've hatched this season, or overall?
Overall, what is your that is my favorite gecko.
Mm,
It could be one you produced. It could be one you haven't produced.
that's a tough one, man. I think it would definitely be my poster boy, which would be Indominus. He is my. Give me 1 second. Hold up.
Oh, by the way, Aaron, Junior kept asking, can I have a crestie? Can I have a crestie? He said you
Oh, yeah,
and it's a joke.
I got him. I got him. You see it?
Oh, wow. What is that?
That is a bold reverse triple stripe high contrast tangerine tremper. That's poster boy right there. Right? That's what I made the logo out of. That's
very nice.
That's the phenotype. That would definitely be my favorite. It doesn't translate, man. That really bothers me.
If anyone wants to see any geckos you're seeing on this live, if you want to see them in a better quality, you go over to Aaron's page. I'm pretty sure you can direct you to better pictures. You would never ever see the true quality of the animal on his lives. It's just simple. Unless we had his fancy webcam when it was all HD and you were looking slick earlier.
Yeah, right. Like that. I was hoping that's why I got the camera, because
I'm pretty sure you're going to be doing more of these anyway. So I'm expecting to see you on YouTube now, eh? Now you got the camera and everything.
Yeah, now I got everything. Yeah, I'm actually I was gonna start twitching.
Definitely.
Because I definitely found the excuse to buy the equipment. You know, the excuse was the life, but I think I'm gonna start doing Twitch lives with the leopard geckos. Definitely.
Do you work with any giants by any chance?
I do have a albino giant. Let me take him out.
I've got a few giants that are new arrivals, so I'm going to show them off while I'm here. 4 months old, this guy.
I have this. Oh yeah.
4 months old.
Yeah, that's nice. I have this guy. Look.
Oh Jesus.
He's a white and yellow max snow albino. I don't know any heads. He's definitely a test project. I got him from a local breeder that was getting out. So I don't post him enough, to be honest.
He's very nice.
Yeah, I still don't know what I'm gonna end up pairing him to.
So this guy here, I got from Germany Wednesday. Oh, let me try and get it. He's a Tangello. Oh, he's a biter too. So he came from Germany.
Oh, beautiful. He's really bright.
Very, very, very nice. He's from Germany. T-Draggers. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this guy, but he's a biter, so I'm going to put him back. But yeah, I always say I think it's line bred giant. I don't know what your take on it is. I think it's line bred. I don't think it's a gene. I understand where people are saying, oh, I think it's a het. Like if you put a big gecko to a big gecko, you're going to get a big gecko, which makes people think it's a het. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think would you say it's line bred, Aaron?
I don't think I've worked with him at all to kind of give my opinion on it. It definitely sounds that it would be line bred, but I honestly enough. I haven't worked with him enough. What was that?
You haven't worked with it enough, I guess, to say. Oh,
yeah, to kind of give my point of view.
So what?
I know you work with him, right?
Sorry, what's that again?
I know you work with him plenty.
Oh yeah, I'd say giant is probably what got me really into the hobby. I mean, I was just some guy breeding pet stuff at the start. I'm not gonna lie. And then I got approached, like we just got some giants. We're getting out of the hobby. We'll do you a really good deal on them. Got them, and once I got it in my hand, I was like, wow. And
Yeah.
ever since then, the giants have been my thing, really. But yeah, through the years of working with them, I always label everything as giant lineage now, because of a few years ago I was labeling everything giant, and you do have the chance of that gecko not reaching its full size, and then you get the question, "You've sold me not a giant." So now I always say giant lineage. Same with what you said with the post white and yellow. You're safe saying post white and yellow than saying nothing, because of at least if they pop a white and yellow, you put it's a possible white and yellow. Do you know what I mean?
Possibly.
So yeah, that's my take on that. I mean, again, I love giants and I hate them at the same time. Junior's put, "What's your take on the hobby so far?" I'm assuming that goes back to what we said at the start, but he said, "What's your take on the hobby so far?" I think Junior's digging for gold.
That his take on what again?
What's your take on the hobby?
As I think that you would need to, as far as what exactly, like I think you have to understand what kind of person I am. I tend to deconstruct things, right? So if by community you mean, like, you have to kind of elaborate on that. And I know he's here.
Yeah, Junior,
let him elaborate on
put in the comments what you want Aaron to. What it can mean loads of things, I guess. It could. I know he's digging.
Yeah, dig it up, man.
Do you know what? Me and Junior, ever since we've done that live, that guy makes me laugh every single day.
Yeah, he's all heart, man.
Yeah.
You don't find people like that nowadays that much. He gives it to you the way it is, or the way he thinks, at least. Yeah. Which is rare, which I think it's a rare attribute.
Definitely. I've got another question. I think we answered this earlier. What's the difference between high contrast and pastel? I say it's just another line. They are very similar how they work. Pastels are more.
They look very similar too. They have a very. Because I only have 2 pastel crosses that come from the original pastel lines. And I gotta say, my female looks very high contrast tangerine.
Right.
Very, very. It's that patchwork. The patchwork is very identical, but they're definitely more colorful, I would say so. Their colors they're more pronounced. Or as far as what I've seen from what I have.
I agree, man. Junior said on the community side.
There's a lot of work that has to be done, right? I can obviously only relate as far as what I personally experienced, and I do want to reiterate that that's not everybody's experience. I'm not just trying to shit on the bad side. It's just within the nature of who I am, right? I'm a psychology major. I try to deconstruct problems and offer solutions, and I think definitely the tribalism can be very damaging. The communities, and how there's a lot of favoritism within certain people, certain groups, and how we identify as individuals plays a big role, right? Like, some of you may know, I consider myself a religious person. I'm Jewish. I always say this: I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a friend, but first and foremost, I'm Jewish. And I try to translate that in my interpersonal relationships. So I definitely have I think I have a high standard for people. So, and I typically hold you to that standard. And that standard isn't very extensive. It's just for me, it's common sense, respect, right? I think the community lacks a lot of respect for individuality. So, and I think we should more so not confine ourselves to our differences, but our similarities, right? Because if we start nitpicking at how I'm different than you and you're from me and how I think, and I'd rather use this word and you rather use that word, and you didn't put cross, I put cross, and the verbiage and everything, I think we're gonna have our hands full, right? We're gonna have our hands full. But if we come together as individuals who love the hobby for what it is, and we love working with animals, I think it's a privilege. First and foremost, it's a privilege to work with animals. I'm a high school dropout. My first job was working in the fields, right? How would you introduce someone within that lifestyle to our community, right? They're gonna come in and they're gonna see like, oh, you guys fight over dumb shit. You guys fight over. You said cross, you didn't say cross. You breed this gene, you don't breed that gene. I think within our contentions, we don't translate the love for our community for what it is, which is animals. So I think definitely that has to be something that has to be focused on more so than the latter. I think that would be a start.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, we've spoke about it briefly and on the messenger and stuff like that. I just don't get it. I just think everyone should just get on. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, whether you're, do you know what I mean? It doesn't. We're all the same. We're all on the same page, and there's ways of going about things. It's like, for example, on Facebook, if someone posts something, instead of messaging the person directly, just saying, Aaron, just so you know, mate, that's a het tremper, not visual.
Exactly.
Then he's like, no, that's a het tremper, but you're wrong. You don't know what you're doing.
You shout them out, you tag them,
Yeah.
you know, you excommunicate them, you defame, you smear his name in the chit chat. And like that goes a long way. That goes a long way. And I don't know, man. I don't know if it relates to.
I think it's an ego thing.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego thing, but I think it definitely also relates to culture, right? Like, I'm older, you know, I've been through shit. I have kids, and my kids are teenagers. There's a sense of experience they could only acquire through actual experience. So for me to go to someone's message in Messenger or whatever, DM, and then smear someone's name for X reason, like, there's no need for that, man. Like it beats out through your character. It's like you said, it ends up bleeding out, and some of us just pick that shit out from a needle. It's like a needle in a haystack. Some of us are just have that ability to discern the shade throwing and the hate and the ego, the jealousy, and the people that have been in the hobby longer definitely need to learn how to share the space, because some of us aren't going anywhere.
Yeah,
like some of us are here to stay. Yeah, like man, don't challenge me, man. I will outwork you.
Yeah,
I will outperform you. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just, I've been through so much shit in my life. I've been homeless. I've ate from the trash. You know, my mom almost died in my hands. You know, I had to drop out. I had to work. You know, I was in the military. I had a medical condition. My dreams were stripped from me. I started from zero too many fucking times to know, right? And but even so, that allows me to love you, right? To love you even through their indifferences. But I also have the ability to be very resilient, right? Like, you're going to challenge me? Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going anywhere. So accept that. First of all, accept that.
Yeah, you're not a pushover, and that a lot of people are
definitely
in this world. Unfortunately, in the world we live, a lot of people do get pushed, and you get people like myself. I mean, I've been when I hear your story, man, I know I'm fortunate. I'm a lucky one. But I can tell by how you hold yourself, how you talk. You're not like I'm not one to mess with, because I know you got a heart of gold. Like, if anyone messages you about anything, and people I speak to, like Junior, they're like, this guy, he's humble as anything, but don't push me because I've been at the bottom, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm quite of an enigma myself, because I'm very introverted, right? Like, this alone is a lot for me. But I don't think anybody knows me as well as my wife. So, you look at my wife and she'll be one to tell you like, he just doesn't stop, man. Like, right? It's in me. It's in me to be able to work 80 hours a week, get my workouts in, do my meal prep, give time for my kids, give time for my wife, and it's still not enough, right? Like I'm just a machine. It's just the way I'm built,
Yeah.
and that definitely translates into how I bleed into what I do, and definitely how I brand myself and working with the Leos in the community has definitely become a big part of my life. So it's that my attitude, my character is definitely going to translate into it.
Definitely. Well, I can see. Well, now we obviously these what these lives are good for. These are people who don't know you get to actually know you for you, because you can never judge somebody off of someone messaging you or anything like that. But you can see, like, now I know when you said I'm OCD, I got this, that, and the other that's happened. You can see it in your work. You know what I mean? Like I can see in what you're doing, your photography, how your page is laid out. I can tell you like how your page looks in a specific way, your website, like stuff like that. You've gone in it full on. Like I'm not messing. I'm not here to mess around.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not here to mess around. It's just but I think it's important to highlight that is more so me being true to myself. Like I think that's an aspect that is, I think, very, very important, because when you come into the community, you come into the rhetoric, you indulge yourself into your interpersonal relationships, and you hear this and you hear that, and you hear this and you hear that, and the same knickknacks, right? One thing has to hold true, and it's the fact that you are first and foremost obligated to yourself, right? You have to be, to a certain degree, selfish natured, to be able to still transgress and implement yourself for who you are, for who you want to implement yourself as, not by the constituents and the expectation of the community, or the guidelines set before us that at most times need to be deconstructed, right? And need to be rewritten. That for me has been my biggest task, right? I had to double down on my pictures. I've had to double down on my brand. I've had to double down on not associating myself with certain individuals. Had to double down with excommunicating myself, because I don't want to be in the middle of all the toxicity, right?
It angers me. Even just talking, like, why are people making people feel like this? Honestly, it pisses me off, because I think, like, someone like yourself, like, you're gonna need, like, I can see all these people you help. I see all these great customers. Why are people doing this to each other? Especially in this hobby. Don't get me wrong. Some form of jealousies are good. To look at, like, with Jay at Eco Geckos. He's like my best bud. I look at his stuff and I think, man, I want that, but I don't take that into toxicity where I'm like, I want you to fail because I want.
No. Exactly. It'd be like, what do I gotta do to get at that level? Right?
Exactly. I use it as fire. I think, right, okay.
Exactly.
I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna save up for 6 months, and I'm gonna spend double what I normally would on a tangerine to try and get the best quality I can, because I want to achieve that. Do you know what I mean? It just angers me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the competitive aspect that is healthy by nature, and it's necessary. That's something else. In order for the hobby to elevate to its full potential, that has to exist. It's true to any type of community. It's not just the leopard gecko community. It's within any community. That healthy mindset that you put yourself in competition has to come with a level of humility where I want that, right?
Yeah.
But you don't come from the aspect like, oh, I don't want him to have it. I don't want it to be him. Like, you put in the work, then you put in the time. You perfect your craft, right?
100%. Like I said to you, I think a lot of it comes down to jealousy. jealousy, and like I said to you, your page has grown tremendously. You got good support. Obviously, I see your post everywhere. Like people, I think it's Exotic Geckos. I think he's bought a few off you. He's constantly posting. I just think it comes down to jealousy, and it really annoys me. It's people in the UK. I mean, really good breeders that get pulled out on things, and you can see it hits home. Even with me, sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and I love doing what I do. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, it's just no need for it. Absolutely no need for it.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of exiles in our communities that definitely need re-invitation into our community, so they could have their input for whatever it may be. Right? That has to happen, man. I think there has to be a level of accountability where that has to be done. I've personally seen it, and I've only been in this for a year, right?
Yeah.
And that's very unfortunate.
You're doing something right. That's all I've got to say. You're doing something right. How I see it is, if you wasn't doing good, if you was failing, no one would say anything. But when someone does something good, people are more inclined to say, "Oh, well, why did you do that?" Or, "Oh, you should have done this." If you was failing, people would leave you to fail. If you're doing good, people are going to tell you you're doing bad. That's just unfortunately how life is. That's
unfortunately the way it rolls.
And
that's the way the cookie crumbles,
as they say.
As they say, yeah. I don't know if they say that in the UK, but I've heard it here in the US.
Has anyone got any questions for us, actually? Because I normally ask the public. We've been talking. I said we'll round.
Yeah, I know.
Has anyone got any questions for us, actually? Is there anything you want to hear from Aaron? I mean, we did get a load of questions. We still got some questions. Is there anything anyone wants to ask Aaron, or for Aaron to show, or anything like that?
I just saw my wife commented it too. My wife's in the chat too.
Oh, big up your wife. He must be hard work.
Oh, she doesn't get enough of me, man. Like, just ask her.
Does your wife get involved with the geckos and everything? I mean, my girlfriend, she loves looking at them, but she.
No, she's my biggest supporter, man. Like, she helps me with everything. I'll ask her to help me out with something. She helps me out. Mm-hmm. And like I said, like, she has her own projects going. A lot of the tangerines are hers. Yeah, I've had even people that are like, "Oh, let me ask my wife." Like, that's a holdback.
Really? Oh, good.
I don't know to the extent they're probably, this guy's bullshitting me. Like, nah, this guy's no, like legitimately. My wife is the one that carries the tangerines on her back.
That's awesome, man. It's nothing like if my girlfriend was like that, I would have issues. I mean, she's the one that goes to me, "Oh, you need to stop buying more geckos." If I had her on board as well, I wouldn't be in this flat right now. So Chloe's Geckos just put, "It's a real shame people do make us fearful to be open about," what does that say? Mishaps and issues. But yeah, she's right. Like, it's like with me, if I look at a gecko, I think, is that white and yellow? I'm worried about posting that gecko because of you're going to have people that jump on you and say, that isn't white and yellow. I see it on Facebook all the time. Exclusive Geckos is a group. Someone I know was kept posting geckos.
Oh,
kept putting,
Facebook, get out of Facebook, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's a death trap, right? That's a death trap. But she's absolutely right. Like, Chloe, right? Yeah, she's absolutely right. But you have to allow yourself failure to a certain degree, man. Like, we are prone to fail. We are prone to be wrong. But this idea that we're gonna crucify you out of that one time you were wrong, that's absurdity, right? Because even the people that hold you to that standard, they're gonna fail even complying to that standard because it's unachievable. It's not reality. Especially with the leopard community that has only been in existence for about 30 plus years.
Yeah. Like,
it's still very, very, very new. There's still a lot of things that we might at the moment hold as truth that might change within time, that we might end up finding out that it's not this or not that, right?
West Yorkshire geckos, what was one of your biggest hurdles you've gone through in your first year?
Yeah, the community, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, that shit really bothered me in the beginning, because like you have to see it as when you started. Like, we all started at one point, and we all start with that enthusiasm. You know, it's your first love. It's your first love, your first gecko, the way you look at it, the way you care for it, your first project, your first hatchling. And the community has a tendency to shit all over that.
Yeah.
Right? And it just makes you bitter. It makes you a very bitter individual. And I would say that's my biggest hurdle. Being able to come from a place of bitterness to be able to come back to a place of doing it for what you love, for why you love what you do. Right? And to be able to love it in the same manner, has been definitely my biggest hurdle, for me at least.
For new breeders, this is a good opportunity for new breeders, actually, because obviously Aaron's he hasn't been in the game for a long time. So even though he seems like he has, I mean, you look at his page, you think, oh, he's been doing this 10+ years. But that just shows his nature. He goes in, he does it the right way. He's not messing about. So I'm breeding these animals. I'm going to get myself a good camera. I'm going to do it the right way. For new breeders, what's the one thing you wish you'd done differently? So I'll let you go first while I think.
The first thing, have no fucking regrets. That is like, go in hard. If you're gonna fail, fail hard, but get up. Right? Do work with whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Do it however you want it. I mean, obviously there's ethics involved, but that's just common sense for me, at the very least. It would be that. Don't look at the market. Don't look at what sells more. Don't look at what the hot item, because it changes by hype, right?
Yeah.
Do what you want. You and stay. That ties in, and I can't stress enough that you have to stay true to yourself, and your branding, and the way you execute everything that you do. And if you fail, learn how to get up. You know, you're entitled to failure, and then go at it again. Just be relentless.
Keep going. Don't stop.
Keep going.
If things do get easier, if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. You know what I mean? So keep pushing. Ignore any negativity. Obviously, it is good to have some negativity, because with someone like me, I don't know whether you're the same, Aaron, it gives me a fire. It gives me a drive. I like proving people wrong.
Like challenge me. Like, I dare you to challenge me.
You're scary, man. You're much better. I know. Magic put, it must be a USA thing. I felt so much support from the community when I started. I don't know, like, I think it comes down to cultural. Everyone has different views, like how people treat animals differently. Like here in the UK, we have huge tubs. In Japan, they have them in lunch boxes or butter tubs. In USA, it's a mixture. But from what I've been to USA loads and loads of times for holidays, and the only thing I would say with USA is everyone. It's like everything's big, everything's bold, and everything's got to be the best. So I don't know whether that rubs down into people. Where people always want to be the best, or people always want to be at the top. West Yorkshire geckos. He's an American. He saw me at the show. We met at the show, and he was like, "You British people, you're putting your arms out to me, like you're inviting me in." In America, it wasn't like that. It was, "Who are you?" Like, you're nothing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Any more questions, anybody? But that's it. I've got that Bengal question there, so but you've already answered. That's very interesting. I do like that a lot. Have you had much hatch out from the fireballs? Because only from my experience, from what I've seen, I haven't got any fireballs. It seems like they look really good to about 30 grams, then it sort of fades out.
They have a big variance, man. Like I hear a lot about clowns and how they change a lot. I would definitely say firebolts are very identical.
Yeah.
I don't know if the certain tang lines are involved for firebolts as well, the same that are involved with clowns, but they do change a lot. They definitely change a lot.
Yeah. Top 5 geckos you have right now, Aaron. That's what someone's just asked. Your top 5 gecko, not your top 1, your top 5. You've already showed us one, so you get to show.
I'll show you number 2. I'll keep you guys in suspense and keep number 1 to myself.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I've actually bought my Stonewash proven female with me today, so I don't think I've actually showed her off. So I'll show her off in a little or not.
That's my number 2.
Very nice. High contrast.
Yeah, that's a white and yellow high contrast. That head stamp, man.
Was that from Ben?
Yeah, both of his geckos are from that produced that are from him.
Very nice.
And then I'll show you. I think I'm gonna put the phone down right away. She's in shed, man.
Always happens when you go on camera.
Always gotta be in shed. Like this girl's definitely. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen her. She reminds me of that. Hold on. They tend to jump too much. I don't know if you guys. I might just put her back. She's very antsy.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
She's a white and yellow bold high contrast tangerine tramper as well. I have a lot of high contrast lines. And then my pastel female too. I would have to say she's definitely grown on me. She's a little bit more chill. She's my pastel cross.
Very nice. I can only, do you know what? I can only imagine how, because they're looking bright on my phone. So I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah, like I'm telling you, man. I wish the camera would have worked. Like, I don't know if you could see her.
Yeah, very nice. So you're a high contrast guy then.
What was that?
You're a high contrast guy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be my main focus going forward as far as plans. I want to kind of add a lot of you could say ingredients to a high contrast line. And there you go. What would that be right there?
That's a Stonewash.
Oh, that's a Stonewash.
Whoa.
What is a Stonewash comprised of? Is it a lime bred?
Yes, a lime bred tremper.
Oh, okay.
Do you see that?
I need to get
motting. It can either come out looking like a stone color, like a grey, or you get like these like lavenders. But yeah, stunning. One of my favorite geckos, I'd say.
I should send you some high contrast. You should send me some Stonewash.
Oh mate, I've got some crosses right. I haven't even posted, and yeah, no. I'll show you. I've got some real nice, because they originated from the black blood as well. They're coming out really tangy. Yeah, I've got some tasty stuff. Do you work with any gems by any chance? Because I've got some really nice gem Stonewash crosses.
No, I do not. I've been meaning to get some. I think I'm gonna end up getting some if he still has available. Carlos from Coastside Geckos.
Oh yeah,
I know he has some.
Me and Carlos get on really well. Any more questions, anyone, before we wrap it up? Oh, you can meet Pablo. I don't know whether you like dogs. His name is actually Pablo Escobar. I told my girlfriend if we get in well, he's actually a pug cross Shih Tzu. I said to her, if we're getting a dog, I'm naming him, so he's Pablo Escobar. Isn't that right, mate?
Yeah, he's got that beard going.
Oh yeah. Is there any lines you work with actually that you was with Stonewash, because it's heavily lime bred, similar to like your Black Knights? You do get some infertility issues and babies hatch weak. Do you have much lines that you've noticed that you thought?
No, I have a pair of no known het Mandarin tangerines that I tried to pair and they didn't give this season. The Bengals would be a line bred that I have a pair of and they were bred. So far, I still have, I think, about like 4 eggs incubated and haven't had any issues with them.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. I have the cotton candy line too, which is from Ben from Art Geckos. I paired 2 of those 2. I haven't had any issues.
So I have heard of that line. Could you explain more about it actually? Because
Yeah,
you
so
know what?
to quote Ben's words, it's to bring out the pink out of raptors. Like it's pink raptors, pretty much. And I gotta say they do hold after a while. Like my female has kind of faded a lot because it's just typical after you breed them.
Yeah.
But definitely some people took some offspring and they're holding true to the name, which is the pink coloration.
I mean, he posted one the other day, and it was like, "Oh, have you guys ever made any bad mistakes in selling reptiles or Leo?" Sorry, and it was
it was
a
the raptor
with the high contrast.
yeah.
Oh, what a gecko!
I love his stuff, man. He's bold. He's one of those that is out there doing stuff.
Yeah,
that I don't see a lot of breeders do, and might be controversial as far as crosses is concerned, but it's in the name, Art Geckos. He makes art with geckos, man.
Honestly, even like we said earlier, the pictures, he gets them all in that round. It's like you spend hours just on one gecko, and I know he does as well. I'm like, you spend hours.
Yeah.
I spoke to him a few times. I did ask him about doing a live, and I think what we spoke about, I think he has shit going down, or he was like, appreciate the offer, and like we spoke, and he's just like, it's something I'm just not going to do right now. But
Yeah,
his work is spectacular.
He's definitely my point of inspiration. He inspired me. He's the one that really got me into staying true, because I saw that and I told myself, like, I could do that with my own touch, like with how I want to do it. And that's definitely what I'm definitely like. His pictures are so good, man. His work, his page.
Yeah.
He's extremely professional. Like, he knows his stuff. That's definitely something that I want to work with. But the genetics aspect, I think that aligns a lot with the advice for newcomers. Consume at your own discretion. Like, we were talking about this earlier. I don't typically try to learn too much about lines that I don't personally have with me. So I acquire by eyesight. Like, oh, I like the way this looks. Okay, what is it? All right, who made it? Like, where does it come from? What's the history? And I leave it at that. Right? Yeah. I don't like conflating the lineage and the genetics and the percentages, and like, I think it's not for me. I think it is a point of discussion, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility on how you discuss these matters. Yeah. And I'm not one to discuss them because I'm not educated enough. But it's definitely another point of view that I would advise newcomers, like, eat slow. Yeah. Consume your information, especially like me. I'm one that has to understand it, right? White and yellow, perfect example, textbook. All right, I want to see it for myself. I want to hatch them. I want to have my own analytics. I want to acquire my own eyesight to kind of decipher what they are, right? Yeah. That's definitely something I would advise newcomers as well, because I'm there, right? I don't consider myself an expert by any means, and that's totally fine. That should be totally fine for you to take it slowly.
100%. Learn yourself. I mean, there's so many good images and stuff you can look at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Learn yourself. At the end of the day, it's experimenting. You're having fun. You know, this is what it's all about.
That's the word. That the fun aspect of hatching it, and then you're scratching your head, and then you read this, and you make your own assumption, and you test it. Like, it has to stay fun.
100%, 100%, and you're doing it as a job, you lucky sod. So in 10 years' time, Aaron, in 10 years' time, would you say you consider yourself to I know it's hard to say what could happen in 10 years, you never know, but would you like to think in 10 years time you would be still doing what you do, and obviously with experience you would have
Definitely, man. Definitely is. Like I said, I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. Like, it's gonna evolve. I have huge plans for other species. So definitely, I want to work with other, like satanic leaf-tailed geckos are fascinating to me. Leachianis, knobtails, ball pythons. I just recently got a group of adult with my bud, ball pythons, and it's. I have to stay true to myself in the aspect where it's fun. It's the enjoyment of it.
100%, 100%.
Oh yeah,
So
I definitely was.
No, go. You go. You go. There's a little tiny delay. You go, man.
I definitely plan on being here 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years from now. So
good man, good man. And I think like someone even put in the comments was like, your customer service was fantastic. Even how you like the delivery of the animals. I know you guys do FedEx and stuff. I think even little things I see, like in America, some people write little notes like "Thank you for buying my animal," and like people take that.
I go all out, man. I go all out, and I attribute a lot of that to my wife too. We wrap it up, we steel stamp it, we put a seal of approval, we write you the genetics. We have a genetics thing, and I try to take a picture of your hatchling and I send your leopard gecko with a hatchling picture too.
Man, it's the little thing.
It has to be part of the experience. You gotta elevate the hobby, man. You gotta elevate the hobby, and it has to be in the details. I think we should do a better job at it. Like it should translate. Our love should translate into the details. Definitely.
Definitely. Even if like I had a conversation with someone earlier. He was talking about. He said he produces some pet animals and sort of he felt bad for it. I was like, no, don't feel bad because you still need to cater for the pet people. Like you can't not. When I first got into this, to spend £100 on a gecko was like. Ooh, so like now, now I'm throwing £500 on a gecko.
That's nothing, yeah. So, yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
So it's just to think, imagine like someone bought a gecko off you and their boxes came, they've opened it, there's a note, there's stickers, there's pictures of how it was hatched, there's information, they're going to love that. It's experience.
I love it. The child in you still has to live. Yeah. Right. Like, exactly. I would love that, man. I would love nothing more. That's the part that keeps me seeing them hatch. It's always a beautiful experience. Like, yeah, it's life. I grew up watching nature and National Geographic, and I would just, right, like as the TVs got better, you would see the quality better, and I would just be like, oh man, that's amazing, right? Like you almost took it.
Mesmerized.
You're mesmerized, exactly. And for me, it's such a privilege. Like I hatch baby geckos in my living room. Yeah, that's the way I see it. I have the privilege of making amazing looking animals. I get to work with them. I get to ship them to people that are gonna love them just the same. Yeah, and there's definitely a simplicity to it too.
We're blessed. Like at least our geckos don't judge us.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic even put. I also keep the eggs and give to the customers. It's just the little things. It's the little. It's just.
Oh, that's a nice. That's a very very nice touch.
Like here's the egg your gecko hatched from. What?
Yeah, right. Like I never thought about that.
Idea stolen.
No, not even.
Someone said, is there a line, we'll make this the last question. Someone said, is there a line you would really like to work with and why?
Stonewash. That's Stonewash. I'm not kidding you. Ask my wife. She's in the chat. As soon as I saw that and Red Devils.
Yeah.
Those two are. I see that and I'm just like, how come we don't have it in the U.S., man? Like,
yeah, I mean, I did speak to JMG who started the line, and he sent everything off to Europe, and I thought, considering he's USA, I thought you guys were bound to have some. And the more I speak to people, they're like, no, none here.
Don't have anything.
So trust me, Aaron. I've got something lined up for you. You're gonna like, man.
You have a large order now. Right?
I want some of that high contrast stuff. I got stonewashed.
I got you. I got you. You know.
I'll have to spend a day actually and show you everything. You'll be like, so yeah.
What's the best? What's the best you usually? Because I know you told me you got a shipment on Wednesday. What's the best one out of that group?
Oh, my best one. It's probably that Tangello I showed you guys. This guy here. I did get an Afghan tangerine, but she was being pissy. But this one's probably my favourite.
Beautiful.
Just Tangello, no known hets. Obviously, with breeding, I'll find out if anything. But he's actually a giant too. This guy's probably my favourite. But there's a breeder in here called Magic. That's the thing. I don't know whether it's the same with the USA. We all help each other. So like, if I have a gecko that would work really well with Magic, with what Magic's doing, I'm not taking no money off of you, man. You're taking that gecko. So he done that with me. So here's another Tangello cross. This is from Magic. I know he's going to be happy. Big girl. How old again, Magic? Three months. But again, this is the thing as well. You see geckos like this, and people label it stonewash. I understand why it has that sort of look, but yeah, I'll show you the stonewash again, eh?
Rub it in. That's nice, man. That definitely a lot of potential.
Ooh. It's their eyes as well. Are you familiar with a Bassian line? It's like it's almost like a Bassian. I mean, if you're working with an animal, you're not just going, you're probably doing it with your high contrast. I love this line.
Yeah.
And I really, it's something I really want to put my stamp on it. Like, not being big-headed. I want people in 5 years' time to be like, George put in work with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want people in 5 years' time, I want people to be like, oh, it's just my desire, just... people say it's big-headed, or maybe it is.
Don't listen to them. Maybe it is. Just go for it.
And also, we have this guy. He's 4 months old. He's actually, the parents are actually from me. I've got a little, I wouldn't say line yet. It's a project where I'm trying to keep. I've been line breeding a smiley head pattern on the head. You can sort of see it.
Oh, okay.
Sort of see it on there. So.
Oh. My pastel crossmail has that exact same head pattern.
I love it. But again,
okay.
Man, we could be talking for hours.
I definitely have to send you some pictures on some stuff that I haven't posted.
Definitely, and vice versa. I've got some. I don't post everything because I like to keep it as a surprise. Like, if I post everything, content's gonna die. You know what I mean? It's only.
You gotta cycle it in and out.
Exactly. So it's like someone messaged me the other day and was like, "That stonewash cross you produced, you keep posting it." And so
I'm there with you, man.
And what? I like it. Why have you got to tell about it? You humans, man, humans. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here, Aaron. I appreciate you so much for coming on, man.
I appreciate you extending your invitation, man. It's definitely the way to go about it.
And it's good to get to know you, and I hope people take you for you're a good guy. You can see you're a good guy, and obviously, I know your wife's a part of it. So your wife's a good woman. So big up you guys. Do you want to shout yourself out? Where to people to find you? And if you've got available geckos, is there a website?
It's websites, Xenozoic-reptilia.com, and Instagram and Facebook are the same too. Xenozoic_reptilia, and then Xenozoic-reptilia for Facebook.
Brilliant, man. But yeah, big up Aaron. Make sure you check his page out. Make sure you follow him. He's got available geckos. If you're from the UK and you want a gecko from USA, message me or Jay. We can get it back. This guy, we need to support people like this.
I appreciate everybody tuning in as well.
Oh, it's all love. This is the thing with my lives. It's all love. That's
I love it, man. Some of us are itching for that. Like we need it.
Definitely.
I definitely needed this. So I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome, man. I appreciate you coming on, but we'll leave it here and make sure you follow this guy. It's going to be on YouTube, Spotify. So
Oh, no way. Not Spotify.
Why? What's
I'm
up with
kidding.
Spotify?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Anyway, enjoy, everybody. Thank you again, Aaron.
I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you, man. 1 second. Pap says, bye.
All right.